Hey guys, and welcome back. After a little hiatus where we took our season break, we have now finally returned for another series of On the Table, your insider guide to the world of tabletop ward games, board games, role-playing and miniatures collecting. If you haven't seen this show before, well then we hope you enjoy it, and remember that you can always come and check us out over at www.beastofwar.com and get your daily updates on what's new and cool in the whole gaming world. And of course, you can always come back and meet us here every other Thursday, where we bring you that something extra Beasts of War style. Anyway, enough of the formalities, let the games begin. If you're a Cyberwolves player, then you've probably already got yourself a big unit of Thunderwolf cavalry, or you're over the moon that you can now get a plastic kit from Games Workshop. However, if you want your wolves armoured and cybernetic, then take a look at these models from Raging Heroes. These bad boys have been designed using 3D modelling techniques and are cast in resin. They've also got cool cybernetic implants that you would expect from a Space Marine Cyberwolf. It'll be interesting to see how these models square up against the recent Games Workshop releases. In fact, I think I have an idea coming on. We've been in need of them for some time, and now they're finally here. The plastic starter boxes for Hordes. All of the faction starter sets have been resculpted and cast in plastic resin, so you're getting new poses and new look war beasts to strike fear into your opponent and expand your existing forces. Or you can get started into another cool fantasy game set in the steampunk themed Iron Kingdoms. If you're an existing player or you just don't fancy starting the game with an off-the-shelf force, then check out some of these new releases that have been gracing the shelves of your local gaming store this year. Let's take a look at the latest horror-themed releases from the sculpting studio over at Weird Miniatures. The supernatural skirmish game Malifaux has a massive following, and with its narrative style and easy entry level, many players have suggested it to fans of role-playing games as a relaxed alternative to the more competitive and intensive board games like 40k, Warmachine, or even Infinity. Weird Miniatures has a great style, and the Malifaux range includes many elements of steampunk, horror, Wild West and Victoriana, making the miniature suitable for more than just a Malifaux game. If you're a fan of any of the genres they cover, Malifaux is a great game to introduce to your friends. And with a free download of the rulebook, there's little to stop you from taking some time out to learn another cool game to add to your repertoire. Are you having problems transporting your exquisitely painted miniatures from one victory to the next? If you are, then take a look at the X-Board from Battlefoam. This is no mere tray, but a fully formed transport solution, or a special tray, if you like. The X-Board has these molded depressions designed to fit the standard sizes of circular bases common to many of the miniature games. So your 25mm, your 40mm, you get the idea. But we're asking ourselves, is this the present for the gamer who has everything, or the gamer who just has too much? Infinity has been rapidly gaining popularity among sci-fi fans and gamers alike, so much so even the guys at Worthy Painting have started pro-painting the starter sets. Take a look at this Pan-Oceania starter set painted by staff artist James Littler. This is part of the works from the Worthy Painting Studio Force, which will be used when the guys open the doors of their new Preston studio and store. So you happen to be in the north of England, look out for their upcoming events, and once they get the store organised, check out their cool painted miniatures and get the guys to show you how to play something too. In the world of hobby gaming, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that doesn't have a soft spot for some of the cool visuals from the Star Wars movies. Check out the range of Star Wars models being produced by Knight Models. With the cost of pre-painted plastic models once produced by Wizard of the Coast running the whole spectrum from £1 or £2 right up to £20 plus for some of the super rare versions, these metal models could be considered quite the bargain for the painter or collector. Mind you, you'll have to paint them yourself, but with all the cool inks, dips and quick shades that are on the market, it isn't difficult to beat the quality of the old pre-paints. It's literally the biggest announcement so far this year. It has to be the release of the Warmachine Colossus. These huge mechanical, war machines are set to take the Iron Kingdoms by storm, carving a swathe of destruction across the battlefield and rendering their opponents into smoking scrap. But that's not the only new releases, no, not by a long shot. Hot on the heels of the Wrath release last year, we have a cavalcade of models ready to join the swelling ranks of Warmachine. Also, remember to watch out for news on the upcoming Iron Kingdoms role-playing game, and stay tuned for our brand new video series from Beasts of War on the how to play Warmachine. When is a Necron not a Necron? Well, when it's made by Puppets War. Check out this certainly not a Necron jet cycle and these not at all Necron scarab-like arachnobots. If you've got a hole in your Necron army that's the shape of a tomb blade or a command barge, or you just need some swarms of scarabs, then these might be of interest to you. But all joking aside, if you or your friends play Necrons and you're not too hot with conversions, or maybe you just want your Necron force to be just that little bit different, then these models are an easy way to personalize your metal army. While you would be forgiven for thinking that we don't give as much love as we should to the extremely popular Flames of War game, well, that's all about to change this year. Not only are we going to get you that how to play Flames of War video you've been harassing us about, but in preparation we've launched a new hub on the website dedicated to everything Flames of War. In there you'll find discussions, mission ideas, videos and some really cool Flames of War themed widgets that should help immerse you into your favourite game of 15mm historical combat. So why not whip out your smartphone and click this QR code to be taken directly to the hub, or you can follow the link, and if you've got what it takes to be our Flames of War czar, then why not send an application to show us your chops? You'll need to know the game, and you'll need to be able to show us you've got what it takes to get people involved and interested in Flames of War. So if you think you've got it, maybe you could join the team. If you liked your Dwarf King's Hold, or you're just a fan of board games, maybe you're looking for a game to get some of your friends interested in the hobby, or perhaps you just need to entertain the kids on a rainy Saturday, well then why not check out Project Pandora from Mantic Games. This tactical sci-fi board game pitches the forces of the sinister corporation against the vicious Veer-Myn, the mutant rodent-like result of a forced evolution on the humble ship's rat. You can control either a squad of corporation troopers or the Veer-Myn as you attempt to complete various missions in the darkened belly of a starship. There's shooting and strategy galore, but best of all, there's a tiled game board that allows you to mix up each game and a selection of Mantic models, all ready to game with, bar a little assembly and a little bit of paint if that's your preference. We're looking forward to the main release of the game soon, so stay tuned to Beasts of War for a video review as soon as we get it. The latest heavy gear faction has been receiving regular releases for a couple of months now, and these latest releases are amongst the coolest to hit the shelves so far. The Espion stealth gear are amongst the most iconic models to appear in the field guide for the new coalition forces. Meanwhile, the Armadillo Beastriders are armed with explosive lances, ready to take down opposing gears with a powerful cavalry charge. Just because this game is high-tech doesn't mean that you can't use a bit of medieval know-how to stack the deck in your favour. If you managed to catch Daryl's previous video about the Dragyri Ice Elemental, you'll know that he was surprised by the quality of the clear resin casting coming out of Dark Age Apocalypse game. Well, they've done it yet again. This time we have the Hail Kin, not quite the size of the impressive Ice Elemental, but these models are again cast in clear resin, which of course means no painting required. Well, you could perhaps go to work with some inks and try and deepen the colour in the recesses, but the Ice Elemental didn't really need it, and we imagine that these won't either. So if you play Dragyri and Dark Age, or you're looking for some smaller ice monsters for your D&D or Pathfinder games, then you really should give these a look. And now for something a little bit different. To try and shake up on the table for all you new players watching us at home on Sky, we're going to introduce a new segment where we teach you how to play war games and show you some tactics and things like that. Kicking off, we're going to start looking at the game Infinity. So, get a watch of this. Infinity is a game using 28mm metal miniatures to simulate futuristic skirmish combat in a science fiction environment. Unlike other similar strategy games, in Infinity, both players are always playing because during each turn, the roles of the active player and the reactive player alternate. So while one player takes his actions, the other can react to them, defending from his attacks. In Infinity, an active turn means the active player develops his tactics, activating his figures, moving and then fighting with them. To be able to activate a figure, the player must spend an order. Each figure the player has chosen for his army provides an order, which is like an action any soldier from a combat group can use. The player can spend one or more orders on a single figure, or across several of them. In an active turn, the player executes his actions. A miniature can spend as many regular orders as there are regular troops in its group. Those troops must be visibly represented on the battlefield. When we spend an order, we can perform two simple actions. For example, move and move again, or move and shoot, or move and attack in close combat. There are a lot of different options. Therefore, this soldier, in his active turn, can spend one order to move, and another order to move and shoot, and another order to shoot another enemy, or the player can spend a new order to activate a different figure, allowing it to shoot at another target. In this way, while the player has orders to spend, he can develop his battle plan. How can a player defend during his reactive turn? The answer is the ARO, the automatic reaction order. One or more figures of the reactive player can act during an enemy turn to answer to the use of an order by the active player. Any figure that can see the miniature being activated by the order can act against it. To perform an ARO, line of fire is required. Only figures which have line of fire to the enemy who is acting can perform an ARO. If there is no line of fire, then the reaction is not possible. The order spending sequence would be: active player declares his first skill, for example move. Reactive player declares all his AROs, for example shoot. The active player declares his second skill, for example shoot. All the actions declared in the order sequence are performed simultaneously, and the dice rolls are what determine who wins the confrontation. We hope you enjoyed that. Remember to stay tuned for more Infinity and other hobby tips and tactics throughout the rest of this series. Well guys, that's it for this episode. Would you believe this is the 4th series of On the Table? Doesn't the time fly when you're having fun? Anyway, remember guys, you can keep up to date with the latest video releases and reviews from Beasts of War by following us on the website or heading on over to Twitter or Facebook. But until next time, you have of course been watching On the Table.